All right, call us maybe like a mid-show reset. Yeah. Apple now, that stock is trading down about 2% off, $4.40, $221.50 over the last few minutes. Just getting some guidance from the CFO on the conference call. Also some comments on capital spending from Amazon. Amazon is up 4.5%, which is $8.40. The other stock on the move is Intel. Intel's up 8.7%. It was up more, still up, but it's not up as much as it was. So 2 up, 1 down. Let's tee it up. See what I just did there, guys?
Well, that was so complicated.
Verbal
That's why you are, Brian. I mean, you are.
That's why I'm just bouncing around show to show. All right, let's bring in Deepwater Asset Management's Gene Munster. Gene joining us now. Save the show. Okay, you pick. Dealer's choice, Gene. Intel, Amazon, Apple. Go. You pick one, and we'll just run off it.
I'm going to take the Apple card here, Brian. I think it's because it's the most fireworks going on.
What is your hot take, Dan? You heard us talk about earlier about this Apple Intelligence, and Dan gave you he gave you a compliment. He said, you've forgotten more than we ever knew, or something like this. It doesn't seem to be moving the needle yet. It's super duper early. What is your take on Apple AI?
Mutual Admiration Society with Dan here. In terms of the take on AI, it's really the substance of what's going on with Apple. We're really not going to see it for the next few quarters. We've talked a lot about that. I want to quickly frame that in. Before I get there, Brian, let me just go over the guidance and explain why the stock is drifting down. The guidance calls for revenue growth in the December quarter in the low to mid single digits. I interpret that as probably 4 to 6%. The street's at 6.8%. They usually come at the high end of the range, so there's going to be some tweaks down for analysts tomorrow in terms of what the December revenue is. On the positive side, they guided gross margin, another critical factor, between 46 and 47%. Usually they come at the high end of the range. The street was at 46.1. So think of this as a slight guide down on revenue, slight guide up on earnings, on margin. Earnings are probably going to remain unchanged. But again, I think that it's important. It's what's moving the stock right now. But effectively, this isn't what really matters. What matters is the second question on the call, which is what are you seeing in terms of iPhone demand relative to Apple Intelligence? Tim Cook said, we're 3 days into this. We're going to roll out more features in English-speaking countries. So that's UK, Canada, Australia, US, not most of their markets by the end of the year. We're going to have to wait 6 months to see how this story plays out.
Apple is actually the 191st best performing S&P 500 stock this year, 191. And if I ran the search right before the show, and I believe, Gene Munster, this is the first year in a decade where Apple has underperformed the S&P 500 minus when it's up, when the markets are up and Apple's up, it has never underperformed the S&P 500 until this year. So it's been a very non-Apple type year.
It has, and I think that most of the people who don't own it tend to follow this path where it's a great company, but not necessarily a great stock. It's overvalued. We own it at Deepwater. I own it personally. I think that we're going to see some upside. I think that I'm always looking forward here, and ultimately I believe that there is still upside in the numbers. I just want to frame in one piece that has changed. If you would have talked to me 2 weeks ago, I'd have said that iPhone's going to grow at around 15% in fiscal 25. I've changed that. I now think it's probably a 10% growth. The street's at 5%, so I just think there's upside, but not as much. And I'm pushing some of that revenue into 2026. And so this is a slight change from my perspective. But ultimately, I think if you look at the iPhone over the next 8 quarters, I think you're going to see some meaningful upside that's going to power this back to the top of that performance chart. I want to give listeners one important data point. If they bring 8% of their base forward into 2025, now, whether that's going to happen or not, you get 15% growth. If you bring 4% over, you get 8% growth. And so I think that there is plenty of room for upside despite what we're seeing with the guidance in this December quarter.
Gene, Tim, let's talk about that services growth that some might have characterized as a little disappointing, but at 11.9% in a world where there is not the major refresh going on into AI. Talk about the correlation between that, again, refresh and what that means for sales and that base and the margin on that base.
So it's this number, it was a miss. I mean, there's no question about it. They grew 12%. The street was at 13%. I think what we are seeing is the iPhone base continuing to increase. They do that every quarter. They said that on the earnings call today. And so that keeps propping up this services number. If you think about their business in total, the one piece that I do have a concern about over the next couple of years is what happens with services, especially related to that Google payment. It came up on the Google call last night. It's probably $15 billion of payment. That may get voided out by the Department of Justice. I'd put the probability at that around 20%. But Tim, when I think about the services, I think that the base keeps growing. It's everything is slowly up and to the right, with the exception of this basically black swan event that could happen. Hard to handicap all that, but that's, I think, the big picture on services.